Today on Straight Talk Africa, a look at the fundamental root causes of the conflict in Darfur, the western region of the Republic of the Sudan. We'll also discuss and analyze the role of the Darfur Women Action Group based here in Washington, D.C. That's coming up next right here on Straight Talk Africa. Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. It's Wednesday, October 19th. I am Shaka Sali.
Well, hello to you, Shaka, and hello to all our viewers and listeners on the continent and elsewhere. I'm Mariama Diallo, your social media reporter.
Today, it's a discussion and analysis on the root causes and the possible solutions on the conflict in the Western Sudanese region of Darfur.
So many angles to cover. Coming up later in our STA inbox, we'll share your thoughts on today's topic through your emails, tweets, and Facebook comments. That's ahead on Straight Talk Africa. Hope you'll stay with us.
The Sudanese western region of Darfur continues to be an extremely dangerous place. This despite a large UN peacekeeping force presence. My colleague Paul Ndiho has more on this story.
Sudan's Darfur region is again in the international headlines because the regime in Khartoum is desperate to end one of the three rebellions in the country. Conflicts that have caused a major humanitarian crisis and, according to the United Nations estimates, caused more than 300,000 deaths. The UN also says that 2.7 million people are displaced as a result of the conflict.
In Darfur, we continue to save lives and help keep peace under difficult conditions. Our success demands the cooperation and full support of the international community, the parties on the ground, and the Sudanese government.
The Washington, D.C.-based NGO Darfur Women Action Group, founded in 2009 by a Darfuri genocide survivor, is trying to make a difference by amplifying the voices and empowering the affected communities. In September, Amnesty International accused the Sudanese government of carrying out at least 30 chemical weapons attacks in Darfur since the beginning of this year. Terina Hassan, Amnesty International's Director of Crisis Research, estimated that up to 250 people might have died as a result of exposure to the chemical weapons agents. During these attacks, hundreds of civilians have been shot at, tens of thousands have been displaced, and in one of the most sickening twists in the conflict in Darfur is we have discovered credible evidence that the Sudanese government has been using chemical weapons on the civilian population. Hassan says her team used satellite imagery, conducted more than 200 interviews, and obtained expert analysis of images showing injuries. The Sudanese government has refuted these claims made by displaced persons in Jabal Mara area of Darfur, that they suffered chemical exposure at the hands of the government. A joint African Union United Nations force known as UNAMID has been stationed in Darfur since 2007. Security remains fragile in Darfur, where mainly non-Arab tribes have been fighting the Arab-led government in Khartoum, and the government is struggling to control rural areas. Meanwhile, Sudan's National Dialogue Conference held last week approved a final document that will act as the base for the country's permanent constitution, aimed at ending the conflicts. Representatives of political parties, armed groups, and civil society organizations signed the document before it was handed over to the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir.
I declare here that we will strictly follow this document and exert zero tolerance over the acts that damage our political development.
However, the main opposition political parties and Darfur armed groups, including SPLM Northern, refused to participate in the conference. The International Criminal Court issued 2 arrest warrants against President al-Bashir in 2009 and in 2010 for allegedly war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide committed in Darfur. However, he continues to travel freely in Africa, across Arab countries and Asia, defying the ICC's arrest warrants. Paul Ndiho, VOA News, Washington.